Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Darin. Hey man, I'm tickled you're here this morning. All you beautiful people, everyone, I'm assuming I am affirming you are beautiful watching online. That it's a roasty toasty Yuma morning, and we are here together in this house of love to heal and to grow and to have fun. And if I'm looking a little bit glowy, I just had some really good hugs. And so I hope you are getting some good hugs, some good hellos, that we are opening our hearts, our minds, our entire beings to express and to share who we are and to lift up not just this building, not just this town, but how about the whole planet? Yeah. Can God do it? Yes. Can God do it through us? Yes. So let's do that. Do it beautifully. And today we have appetizers, which are savory snacks made with love, and they'll be served out in the family room. And we have a board meeting, equally as savory, equally fun, and equally made with love. So welcome aboard to everyone. And let's stand up and kick it off in song.
Before we start, I would just like to introduce our newest member of our choir, Miss Evie. And okay.
Here we go. Woo!
Anything is possible when you believe. Anything is possible when you believe. Faith can make a mountain move when you believe. Faith can make a mountain move when you believe. Don't you know that you can change your life when you believe? Don't you know that you can change your life when you believe? In yourself,
When you believe,
in yourself,
when you believe,
in yourself,
when you believe,
in yourself.
when you believe,
Gonna make a miracle when you believe.
you know
You're
you're
gonna make a miracle when you believe. Everything you want, you got when you believe.
you know
know everything you want, you got when you believe. In yourself,
when you believe,
in yourself,
when you believe,
in yourself,
when you believe,
in yourself.
believe,
I believe in me. I believe in you. We believe in each other. There ain't nothing we can do. I believe in me. I believe in you. We believe in each other. There ain't nothing we can do. I believe in me. I believe in you. When we believe in each other, there ain't nothing we can do. I believe in me. I believe in you. We believe in each other. There ain't nothing we can do.
when
You
you believe.
believe.
Excellent. And welcome, Evie. That's fantastic. Love to see our music program grow. And I was back there grooving and jiving, getting my exercise for the day. thinking the neighbors who slept in are now awake, and they are going to have a better day than they were 10 minutes ago because they're believing in themselves. Great song. We're going to start off. And now for our next feeding of our spiritual selves, I welcome to the pulpit for a reading from our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, Miss Judy.
Woo!
Take it away, Melissa.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So, I've chosen a reading from the Essential Ernest Holmes. This is fascinating. This is a fascinating piece, and I think you're going to like it. So, it's found on page 206. Spiritual experience is a fact. Spirituality may be defined as an atmosphere of good, the realization of God. It cannot and does not borrow its light from another, no matter how great or noble that other may be. It springs from within, coming from that never-failing fountain of life which quenches every thirst, whose source is in eternity, the wellspring of self-existence. It is a revelation of the self to the self, putting one back on the track of his own self-dependence on spirit, his own at-one-ment with reality. 2 years before the atom bomb fell in Japan, at about the time of day they were experimenting with it down in New Mexico, I was giving a treatment one day. In the middle of the treatment, I seemed to be sitting on the side of a hill overlooking a town. All at once there was an explosion. I saw a cloud rise and mushroom high in the sky, exactly as it did later when the A-bomb fell on Hiroshima. And I looked down at the town and I said to myself, this isn't destruction, this is annihilation. Part of London had just been destroyed, but I realized this that I saw wasn't that kind of destruction, because the city was there, and then, in the next instant, it was gone. I knew this was going to take place and end the war. I didn't know where or when, but I knew it was going to annihilate a city. So I recorded this experience and explained it to 5 people who witnessed the manuscript by signature, and then I put it safely away. Now this incident is an example of a psychic experience. It was psychic because the causation of that bombing had already been set in motion, which mathematically had to produce the exact result that took place, unless it was intercepted. There was nothing fatalistic about it. It could have been that those scientists, after they had seen what this energy could do, would have shuddered and said, we will not use it. Then the causation would have been intercepted and a city would not have been destroyed. Was what happened good or bad? I do not know. We are not discussing moral issues here. Chains of causation can be set in motion, individually or collectively, which produce their inevitable results, unless they are changed. And they can be changed. And so it is.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that people of all faiths and lifestyles, all sentient beings, come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of new thoughts, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And as Matt lights the healing candle, please say silently, out loud, or put in Facebook comments the names of those you would like to hold in the healing flame of God's eternal love. With our eyes closed and our hearts and minds wide open, we recognize that there is one power in the universe, the power of oneness, the power of love, the power of God. And we know that we are one with God, each and every single one of us. And as we affirm the healing, the wellness, the well-being of our loved ones, we affirm their safety, their comfort, their sense of belonging. And we not only affirm this for our loved ones, we affirm this for the people that we might know, our coworkers, family, friends. We affirm this for strangers, and we affirm this for the people who we may never meet in real life. Because we recognize that we are all one with God, and we're all deserving of this experience of well-being, of peace, of love, of belonging, of acceptance. I am so grateful to know this truth, that we all know this truth, that we all embrace this truth, and that we all live this truth. And I release these words onto the universe, knowing that the universe is saying yes to our affirmations of love, peace, safety, and belonging. And together we close this by saying, and so it is. Thank you.
Clearly I'm excited for this. So it is my absolute absolute honor to introduce a man who has been a cornerstone of this community for decades. He has stood steadfast through every season of change, and he's done that with love and sometimes with a lot of courage, followed by resilience. Reverend Darin is the true embodiment of a life of service, and his heart and his mind are always centered on the vision of this center and the well-being of every flavor of spirit in our congregation. He was the very first person I met when I began attending 5 years ago. And since that moment, he's been foundational. I'm gonna cry. In my own spiritual evolution. And he always provides with acceptance and great love and support. He strives to serve all of us who are having a human experience and to live the principles of the science of mind in every breath he takes. So I'm blessed to call him not only my reverend, the minister, but also my very deeply cherished friend. So please join me in welcoming our speaker today, Reverend Darin Fenger.
Thank you. One of the first things I learned here is it's okay that I'm a crybaby. and how beautiful. I'm not crying now, that's only because I was affirming. I am not crying. But how beautiful that we are in a place where we can feel what we're feeling and to let it come out. When I gave the announcement of my mentor passing, I'm like, I'm bawling on camera in front of everybody. It is our heart, our love being able to shine out. And I knew as soon as Martinella said, why don't I ever get to introduce you? I'm like, I'm going to ask you. I knew I would be touched. And thank you for that. And if I'm looking a little tanned, if some of us are looking a little tanned, that's because we journeyed to the center of the world yesterday. Yeah. Now that may seem like it's a lot further away than it really is. It's outside of town. But we had so much fun. You know, there's a museum, there's a little church. We climbed up the hill to the church. We had lunch. And some people who don't come here said, well, what's the spiritual significance of that place? I'm like, there isn't. Until we get there. Then it is. It's just the love of us being together as friends and as a spiritual community. That's a spiritual significance. So that was fun. It was awesome. It was, wasn't it? Yes. And good exercise climbing up those stairs. I got up there and I said to Laura, I said, I'm going to wheeze a while. And again, I'm having a human experience. That was wheezing, having a human experience. Crying that we get to be real here, that we get to, if we drive up wearing a mask or a costume, we get to take that sucker off. And I affirm that when we leave, let that sucker be. Amen. And to walk out as ourselves, because that's the best thing. So when people come here, I used to work in marketing, work in news, and I'm always like, welcome, hey, good to meet you. What'd you think? After service, first, how'd you find us, and what did you like? And the number one answer is you. What do people like the most? Love the most? We're going to upgrade that. What do people love the most? What are they thrilled the most by when they come to this spiritual center for the first time? It is you. They see, hear, feel deeply beautiful, authentic, real, loving, life-affirming, funny, silly, wild, untamed, all good adjectives if you've been paying attention to how this place rolls. People who are living the spiritual path authentically. Isn't that beautiful? And don't you see people doing that well here? Do you know that you are doing that well here? You are. So let's give ourselves a round of applause. Yes. Let's get loud. Another thing when I ask people what they enjoy the most is the Flames of Faith ceremony. I mean, lots of nodding heads. So many people are surprised, dare I say even shocked, to find that there's a spiritual center that not only mentions the other guys, I'm putting this in air quotes because there's no such thing, that we mention the competition, and we actually celebrate them, honor them, bring them into our sacred practice. And that's unique. And for some people, maybe that one of the flames is a tradition or a religion that they practiced before. Maybe it's one they practice now. And it's in keeping with what Dr. Holmes always taught us. The science of mind itself is a synthesis. It's a salad bar of so many different religions and traditions, the ones mentioned here today, plus a lot more, everything from Christian Science to the transcendental authors of Emerson and Thoreau. So it's all in there. And that to me is delicious. Diversity is delicious. Mix of all those flavors, that's delicious. Because it's God, but it's God showing up in all those different ways. So when we do the flames, is there a religion or a tradition that you like the most? You're always like, oh yeah, that really kind of warms your heart the most. Maybe one you want to learn more about? Or how about maybe even one that you're not quite jiggy with yet and ready to learn more about? That's cool too. And that's part of what we're doing, is we are encouraging each other and ourselves to look for those commonalities. In the news business, what I used to be in, we called the newspaper the marketplace of ideas. I loved that. And I kind of like to bring that same spirit to what we teach here, that this is a marketplace of ideas, that there are so many different viewpoints and traditions and ways of seeing something, different spiritual tools, different spiritual practices, that we can explore them and we can take in kind of what works for us. It is like a buffet. When I see beets, I get beets. When I see artichokes, I don't get artichokes. So when you see something here, or feel something here that might work for you, that you can incorporate that and to take that in. Because Science of Mind in this center and our whole organization, Centers of Spiritual Living, we're not here to twist anyone's arm. We don't think of competition. We love to explore and to learn different ways of seeing this amazing thing called life, this incredibly huge thing called the universe, and to see what works for us, what we can bring in. Because the Science of Mind, really, I just like to think, our first class is called Foundations. So really, Science of Mind is kind of a foundational agreement of here's these things that we generally agree upon, and then everything else is exploration. Everything else is seeing what fits with you, what works for you. That we're going to always say, there's one God, and that heaven and hell can be found here according to our thoughts, which shape and write the script of our lives and of our experiences. That's not going to change, and I think that's pretty cool. But other than that, we get to explore a world of belief. Because can you imagine, do you know how many, if you would ask the internet, how many religions are out there? What number is that, do you think? Any guesses? So I'm hearing thousands. How many thousands? Supposedly 4,200 religions. That's a lot, but I think they're missing a couple. I think they're missing Danaism. Oh! I've joked I'm teaching Science of Mind. I'm not teaching Darinism, but Darinism would be fun. It would be similar, but more picnicking, kite flying, and opera listening. Maybe you wouldn't enjoy that. But that's a lot of religions to explore. The big ones, there's 12 big ones: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, and Sikhism, Taoism, Confucianism, and Baha'i, Shinto, Jainism, and Zoroastrianism. That's a lot. Think of all those people, those cultures, that our planet, that's centuries. But I had a friend in New Mexico, this handsome, everybody said, oh, he could be a prince. He really was. But anyway, he was from the Middle East. And I said, oh, you're Muslim? And he said, no. I'm like, oh, you're Christian? No. Like, what are you? And he said, Zoroastrian. And I kind of had to gulp. I said, I didn't know you guys existed outside of like world religion class and documentaries. Zoroastrianism, they are the old guys who've been around, who have shaped and affected everybody. So for me to know how many religions are out there, that's humbling, and And it's exciting because we have a lot to explore. We have a lot of new ideas. We have all the art and the music and the rituals and the prayers that come with that, and we get to see what lifts us up and what feeds us, and which would be perfect for our center to celebrate on World Religion Day. Doesn't that sound good? Mm-hmm. Would you like to do that?
Yes.
You're gonna have to wait a year.
Oh.
Your minister flubbed. I'm like, oh, World Religion Day, when is that? January. So that's my plug for World Religion Day. Had to get us in there. But it's because, we're going to come back to World Religion Day, skip ahead. Humanity has been on a winding path as it's trying to figure out this thing called God, this thing called universe, this thing called life. We've figured out things, we've had theories, people have fought over it, someone else has come forward, there's been a new idea, a new religion kind of takes off and starts off in its own course. And for us, kind of, haven't we all been on a winding path toward getting here? Did you start off your path on a different religion, different belief system? That's great. There are people here who have experimented with, experienced, and benefited from, and maybe not liked, a lot of different paths. And there are people here who are maybe on a couple of paths right now. And that's cool too, because we are taught by Dr. Holmes to look for the golden thread. What do these traditions have in common? What's that universal language and truth? And how can it impact our lives? Dr. Holmes got that term, golden thread, from Ralph Waldo Trine, the other Ralph Waldo in his life, the first one being Emerson. Trine really believed in the unity of religions, and Gandhi used Trine's work when he was trying to bring together Muslims and Hindus in India. They teach them we're human. We are all God's children. Mr. Trine said this, and I think it's beautiful. He said, there's a golden thread that runs through the lives and the teachings of all prophets, seers, saints, and saviors in this world's history. Through the lives of men and women of truly great and lasting power. Thank you for mentioning women. You got that right. The great central fact of the universe is that the spirit of infinite life and power manifests itself in and through all. This spirit of indefinite life and power that is behind all is what I call God. Isn't that nice? Concise? And doesn't that sound familiar to what we teach? I love that. So for World Religion Day, we'll do that next year. Michelle will do some kind of fun food. And what's neat is who founded World Religion Day, but the second to the last candle in the flames of faith, the Baha'i religion. Are many of you familiar with the Baha'i? Do you say Bahu when we say Baha'i? So the first time I ran across the Baha'i people, very unlikely place. My dad and I were at a rodeo parade in Scottsdale. So I'm like, horses.
Yay for the horses.
Wagons with horses. Yeah, not a fan of the horses. And then I go, well, and it's a rodeo parade, so who's the dummy? But I'm sitting there clapping at the horses, and I hear this group upcoming, one planet, one people, one family. And I'm like, well, I like that. So as they got closer, I could see these people, and they were handing out flowers. One planet, one people, one family. I'm like, well, hello, hippies. Yeah, I love this. Well, it was the Baha'i. They had a big banner. I'd never heard of them. And I wasn't quite sure who they were. And I was so excited as they passed by, and I waited for my flower and didn't get one because I am a boy. I'm like, oh, well, the Baha'i don't give flowers to boys, but I like this whole one family one, because that's different. You don't really hear that out there in the mainstream world, especially at a rodeo parade. So good for them. So when people ask me, this is only my description, of how to describe the Baha'i, I always say it's kind of like if Buddhism and Islam had a baby. That's kind of, because it has a lot of those flavors, a lot of those thoughts. They teach oneness of God, oneness of religion, oneness of humanity. And they say that to be a Baha'i, it simply means to love the world, to serve your fellow man and sisters, and try to work in every way you can toward universal peace and universal brotherhood. Their goal is to bring us all together as people, as children of God, to unify us in peace, in cooperation, and brother and sisterhood. How does that sound? That's a lofty, beautiful goal. And not to make us, into any particular form, but to bring us all together in love and in spirituality. I think that's fantastic. And it's neat, too, that it comes from a part of the world that is hurting. It comes from Iran. So that it's a part of the world that has long been crying out for peace and for unity and for the healing of war. And that cry for peace, I think that's powerful. So that's where the Baha'i faith comes from, and we'll learn a little bit about that. But I thought that today for my talk, we would do the Baha'i vision, uniting as one human family. What a beautiful time. And this isn't just to learn about the Baha'i, although that's fascinating, but for us to explore the spiritual concepts of unity and peace, and to find out, to ask, do we think it's possible? Because our answer to that is our vote. If we say no, the universe says, okay, as it takes the sums. And if we think it's possible, what could our role be? It's so easy to think it's somebody else's job. That's the one thing about this teaching, is it's empowering, it's beautiful, it's uplifting, and it says, it's yours to do. Yours to do. It's mine to do. It's that beautiful responsibility, but I think that's empowering too. So for us to ask ourselves, what do we really believe about peace and unity and brotherhood and sisterhood? And do we think it can happen? Do we think that it's possible? Well, the Baha'i say yes. If there are spiritual cheerleaders, it's the Baha'i. They are not only optimistic, they are convinced this is where we're headed, that we deserve it, and that we're made for this, that we have what it takes to do this. A little bit about them, of our flames, of the religions and traditions that we honor during the Flames of Faith, the Baha'i faith is the newest. That's pretty cool. We think of religions being so super old, but it was founded in 1863 by Baha'u'llah. Gosh darn it, I practice at home. Baha'u'llah, God. Baha'u'llah. What's interesting, and there's a little bit of a lesson there, that in Islam it's believed that there are 99 names of God, and 100th one which is secret and most special. And the Baha'i say that name is Baha, meaning glorious and splendor. So that's where they get their name. And what's beautiful is if they heard me say newest, they'd say newest and Reverend Darin, that they don't believe that they're just the newest religion. They believe that they are the final religion. That they are the culmination of, gotta get my notes here, Zoroastrianism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and now the Baha'i. That they're the ones who are called forward here and at this time to bring us all together. That's lofty. Most religions just kind of out for themselves, kind of their members are kind of doing it for themselves. But here comes the Baha'i wanting to save, wanting to restore and to heal humanity. I love what they say, and their spiritual gifts to us are unity and peace. They say that the earth is but one country and mankind is its citizens. And again, they don't just feel that we need to come together, that we can come together. They say we're ready to. They say how it's possible. So what do you think? Does that sound too New Age? Does that sound too woo-woo? Or does it sound like something that is possible and maybe has always been possible, but hasn't happened yet because we have not agreed to it, allowed it to come through, to say yes to that, to waken up to that? Because what they're saying is that they hope their teachings to be a spiritual balm in a troubled world, to give us the spiritual principles to come together, to find the commonality with each other, to establish that eternal, long-lasting peace by recovering oneness in humanity, independent investigation of truth. Sound like us? Yes, it does. And freedom and equality of all people. Again, they say that this isn't just possible, it's inevitable if we say yes. Baha'u'llah said, we live in a time of rapid, often unsettling change, inspiring mixed feelings of dread, anxiety, anticipation, and hope. But a new life in this age is stirring within all people on the earth. So powerful is the light of unity that it can illuminate the whole earth. And they are ready to take us forward. He continues, the optimistic religions of Baha'i faith answer essential questions about the human condition and the relationships that bind us together. That's powerful. And as I always like to remind us, this isn't just a poetic concept. This isn't just niceness. How would we live differently? How would this world be if we were united with our fellow humans, our fellow creations? If we truly saw the face of God in everyone we meet, how could we have war? How could we have racism, sexism, all of those isms? Would that not just heal our treatment of each other, which it would heal the very core issue, the very core source of where that comes from, our spiritual wounds, our own hurting on the inside. That we would not only stop hurting ourselves, but to not hurt each other, to see God in each other. And when we do, in Namaste consciousness, the God in me seeing the God in everyone, we just can't help but being kinder and nicer. And not just in person, but in politics. When we hear about our country going to war with another country, that we're like, oh my gosh, those are not just only people on the other end, but beautiful, loving, spiritual beings, just like us, that we have more in common with than that we don't. So it's asking us to accept and allow. That's what unity is. Just accept and allow. Doesn't mean we need to participate in everything. It doesn't mean that we even need to know anyone and everyone. But to graduate from that to helping and supporting people, at least staying out of everyone's way, acknowledging everyone's right to exist and right to be here. And that really fits with what we teach in Centers of Spiritual Living, that one of our taglines is helping the world awaken to its magnificence, to create a world that works for everyone. Because if we believe that we're all divine children of God, who possibly out there could be outside of that definition? Who couldn't belong? Who is God's lesser work? Who isn't part of that spiritual family? And the answer is no one. And so how healing and transformative it is for us to remember that. Because humanity's done a very good job of categorizing us. Haven't you felt a few labels be smacked on you?
Yeah.
A few labels smacked on them? You know, especially when I worked at the prison, I look at the guys and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, we've got racial divisions, religion divisions, different crimes that hate each other, all this different stuff, and I'm like, okay, who's who? You know, we're not color-coded here. How does this work? You know that humanity likes to, up until this point, we'll say, categorize us by gender, by race, by economic divisions, and all of that. And it's too tempting when we label people to other people, to put them outside of ourselves or outside of the good that we're seeking for us, to not seek them together. And here's a piece of Baha'i scripture. It's kind of long, but it is beautiful. And this is, join me in when we hear this, in saying yes to this coming forward. They say when love is realized and the ideal spiritual bonds unite the hearts of men and women, the whole human race will be lifted up. The world will continually grow more and more spiritual. And where warfare and strife will be uprooted. Disagreement and dissensions will pass away, and the universal peace that unites all nations and the peoples of the entire world will come forward. All mankind will dwell together as one family, blending as the waves of one sea, shining as stars from the one firmament, and appear as fruits from the same tree. This is the happiness and felicity of humankind. This is the illumination of man, the glory eternal and life everlasting. Doesn't that sound good? Doesn't that sound worth working toward, individually and collectively? And we can do that. And wherever you're feeling, myself included, a little yes there, it's a call to do that. It's a call from Spirit, from this universal power, this universal wisdom, that we're ready to do that. And the Baha'i have some great ideas. I love that they believe in a practical approach to applying their spirituality to the world. Because what we're studying, what we're wanting to be immersed within, shouldn't be held within just the synagogue or the temple or just this place, but out in the lives of people. Because if what we believe is true, that spiritual truth should follow everyone to bed, to the kitchen, to their workplace, to their home. The Baha'i call for the elimination of prejudice. No more. They call for racial and social justice. The nobility of each human being. I love that. Equality of women and men, harmony between science and religion. That's us. Universal education, spiritually guided solutions to economic inequality, justice and equity as a foundation for world peace, and the elimination of extreme poverty. That's a vision. They prayed before coming up with that. And doesn't that sound familiar? That when we read the global vision for Centers of Spiritual Living, a lot of that is really the same. And do you believe that everyone deserves that? Do you believe it can happen? I love that. And again, when we believe what we believe, are we called to share that with our people? Not just our family, not just our friends, not just this congregation, but to the world. And the Baha'i do a great job of that. I think we do too, to encourage groups to come together, to encourage discussion, to encourage interfaiths in all the voices that we bring together. And it's powerful. And I got my rose. Here's how. So I am not sure if the Baha'i are still in town. If you've been on 32nd Street by the airport, you'll see a sign, the highway cleanup signs. It says the Baha'i of Yuma. Well, they've been in town since 1965, and they had a temple down 8th Street, and I was there at their opening, but I'm not quite sure if they're still here. So if they are, what do you think about inviting them to a service to do something joint with them? I think they would dig that. I would dig that. We just gotta find them. Because my friend who was Baha'i, who was there at the opening of the temple, has since moved. And she remembered my Scottsdale rodeo story. And at the end of the service, she presented me with a flower. Oh, you are good, Kate. Kate Dusant, not Kate Turpin. In 1985, the Baha'i, this is not small. Sometimes religions and organizations put out emails or maybe a little poster. They wrote a letter to humanity. So if you were alive in 1985, they wrote this to you. A great peace toward which people of goodwill throughout the centuries have inclined their hearts, of which seers and poets for countless generations have expressed their visions, from which age to age the sacred scriptures of mankind have constantly held in promise, is now at long last within the reach of the nations. For the first time in history, it is possible for everyone to view the entire planet. With all its myriad, diversified people in one perspective, world peace is not only possible, but inevitable, in their letter to humanity. That's beautiful. And that's worth hopping onto. I thought as I was making this talk, I thought, gosh, they're going to think, oh, we're all going to become Baha'i and take off, and that'd be okay, but I might chase you down. But what's interesting, and I say this when my Baha'i friend was here, all organizations, all movements, all traditions have a little bit of a shadow side. One, I think what people would say with Baha'i, lots of dogma, lots and lots of rules. Equality of men and women, but they have their version of the Vatican, and women are not allowed in there. I thought, well, that doesn't quite sound like, doing what they were saying. But what's interesting is, can't we as spiritual grown-ups examine different traditions, different belief systems? Perfect, imperfect, we're imperfect. It's all bits and pieces of imperfect. And to discern what we believe and what works for us. And how do we do that? Not with our brain organ, but our heart organ. Not something that sounds right, but how does it feel? That in your sovereignty as an individual child of God, to know, this works for me. I believe this. I'm going to bring this in, or if it doesn't, like the bird building its nest, I'm going to not pick up that twig, but I'm going to pick up that one. That we get to decide and discern what really works for us. And besides, does everyone or anyone have it all figured out yet? Is it okay if we don't have it all figured out yet? Is it okay if it's a little bit of a surprise when we get to the other side? I can't wait for that. I'm going to be like, yes, and whoa, really? How great to know that, to know what we never could have known here, and that we're doing our best, and that we are following what we believe to be true. So does unity sound good? Does peace sound good? And where does it begin? We sing it every week, that it begins with us. So this is our spiritual call for all the nodding, all the yesing, and I've done it too, for unity and peace and brotherhood, for us to begin the work right within us, for the peace to begin within us. It's so easy for us, myself included, to watch the TV and to wonder why those presidents and dictators aren't doing a better job. And why the world leaders, the big religions, the big governments aren't doing a better job of getting together. But along comes a science of mind to empower us and to hand us the responsibility that our beliefs, our thoughts, come together as the grand total, the sum total of what we experience. So we are called at our level to know peace is possible, to go in our spiritual practice and heal ourselves. Because when we love ourselves, when we are healed, anger has nowhere to cook. It's kind of got to come from that big red open wound, that fire, somewhere for it to arise from. Hurt people hurt, and healed people heal. And if we still have some wounds, even though we've been working at this for a while, that is okay. We keep working on that. So that when we are so at peace with ourselves, that when there is another group out there, when we do hear something, we do see something that might trigger us, our response is not one of anger. Our response is one of breathing through, returning to peace in our bodies, in our minds, in our hearts, and for that peace to be our gift to the world. So for our homework, and I'm including myself on this, bring to mind a place that is like a happy place. Bring to mind somebody easy to love. And in your spiritual work, close your eyes, open your hearts, go into meditation, and bring them into mind. That person for whom your heart opens easily. That place where you are safe, where you belong, and you breathe and be easily. Because you're safe, because you're always safe. And then bring to mind a group who, in simple terms, you just simply do not like. And try to work toward being able to stay peaceful and open. Wanting that for yourself, wanting that for them. It's like the practice of forgiveness. We're not asking them to change. We're not saying what they're doing is right or wrong. What we are saying is we are releasing and healing the impact that anger we might have had in the past toward that group of people. And when we need to, come back to the person we love easily, come back to that place that we love easily. But how wonderful that if it's even just one group, we can heal our thoughts of, that they can come into our hearts and not be battered and then leave. They can come into our minds and only be blessed and then to leave. What beautiful work. And for us to remember that we are spiritual citizens here on this little earth. Like the letter, they said that it's now possible for us to see our planet from outer space. And to think of that, have you heard how astronauts, when they come back from outer space, agree, kind of the more spiritual ones are the ones who have the chance to say this, that they come back changed, having seen Earth at the distance, that beautiful blue marble. And I love how one astronaut in particular who I read said seeing the Earth being so small didn't make him feel inferior. He said it made him feel impactful. Because at that distance, at that spiritual viewpoint, there are no barriers. There are no races, genders, religions, no lines in the sand. It is all of us together. And one astronaut said, you can't help but to see how we are all, brothers and sisters, riding this one fragile spaceship through the universe. And that we are all here to love each other, support each other, to know each other, to accept each other. And he said it's impossible to look at that earth and not just know we're in this together. Let us know that ourselves and do it beautifully, as you always do. And so it is. Join me by closing your eyes and opening your hearts. And let's just feel all that consciousness that is within us, that is the consciousness of God. I'd love to know that as anytime we look at a body of water, that water has been circulating through rivers and streams, through bodies of people and plants and animals. And the consciousness that is within us right now has been in the consciousness and the minds, the experiences of people, of all beings, swirling and waving and flowing through all life, because it is one life, one presence, one power, and that is God, the great unifier, the one that brings us together, the one that is in the heart of everyone, waiting for us to remember our wholeness, to remember our healing, to begin loving ourselves, and then to share that love with everyone else, to open our proverbial arms into a universe-wide embrace, to accept the worth, the belonging of all people, all beings, everyone on spaceship Earth. So may we take this into our spiritual practice and take it into our thoughts, into our actions, into our words, wherever we go. The open-hearted, open-armed love for each other. And so it is.
So it is.
Real quick. This is Jesse Powers, and we'll be here Tuesday night. Little preview.
Let the light come through. Like a door wide open. Let it all be new. All that once was broken. Let the light come through. Like a let the light come through. There's no need for hiding. It was always you. Ever golden shining, illuminate the places in the dark. Hey, your light be like the blazing star. Remember that the light is where you are. It lives in me, it lives in you. So let the light come through.
This is our time of conscious support of the second. If you would just hold your offering in your heart and repeat with me the affirmative giving blessing. Divine love,
consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of this center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is.
I do believe, I will receive, I just have to know, and then declare it to be so, with an open mind, and just a little bit of time, if it serves my highest good, it will be mine. I do believe, I will receive, I just have to know, and then declare it to be so, with an open mind, and a little bit of time, if it serves my highest good, it will be mine. If it serves my highest good, then it is mine.
that is such a beautiful offering song. Thank you. And thanks to all of you for being here, for loving this center, for all the love that you share with each other and our connection. We are grateful. And thank you. And so it is.
And so it is. I think you know you're in a good place when there's a lady with a tambourine. That's where there are fun people.
Yeah.
And again, thank you to everyone who came on our trip yesterday, our field trip to the center of the world. It's always wonderful for us to come together. We have such a good time, and you know it was a good time when people say at the end, when's the next one? So that's more of an issue of where is the next one, because the field trips, we want to go somewhere cool. So I'm thinking Southern California. So this summer, maybe heading to San Diego, maybe to this Self-Realization Fellowship, to go there, to Deer Park Monastery, Thich Nhat Hanh's spiritual commune in the hills of San Diego. So if someone wants to help me plan some of these events, because sometimes it's a thing of calling and working and finding the right time and the right way to set some of these up. If any of that speaks to you, let me know and we can plan a next fun outing. So to the announcements, let's see what we have here. I gotta remind myself. Well, again, it's appetizers, wonderful goodies. Some things I've heard about, which already I know are gonna be out there. So I know meatballs for sure are gonna be out there for you. And delicious because Carolyn and Michelle made them. So they're gonna be out there. Wonderful, yummy appetizers. And then back in the sanctuary will be our board meeting. And those events are welcome to everyone, open to everyone. So join us there. And Jessie Powers, what do you think about her voice? Isn't she good? She has such a powerful voice, seems like such a wonderful human being. And this video, she was performing at Mile High Church in Denver, our biggest center. So you don't get invited there. They have like 2,000 members. You don't get invited there unless you're really good. And she's on tour from Ohio, working her way here. She gets here tomorrow. And then Tuesday night, we'll be here for the concert. 6:30, the cost is a love offering. It was nice as her music is so generationally expressive and loving and open. I think even people who don't come here would love it. I think it's uplifting music for all people. So if you have friends, neighbors want to come, let's pack the house Tuesday night. And then our spring equinox celebration. It's a day early, but that's going to be on March 19th. That's this Thursday at 6:30. What's nice is that's the same time as Thursday meditation, so people are already coming here. And Shai this morning sent me pictures of what she is planning for us, and it is wonderful. She has beautiful things she's going to give you around the theme of planting. She has things to share musically, chanting, a little bit of jewelry maybe. It's going to be a wonderful spiritual celebration about spring, about planting, about beginning new things. The only modification we're making is we're having to have a little bit of a hustle-tussle with Mother Nature. We were going to do this outside, and that day is supposed to be roasty toasty. So we're going to bring it inside. We're not going to fight Mother Nature, we're going to love on her. So that event will be inside versus the parking lot, which was the original plan. Bring it inside on Thursday at 6:30. And then we have something special. Something special always happens when Petronella and I talk. And I said, hey, remember what you did for Christmas? Could you do something like that for Easter? When you all came together under her spiritual and creative leadership and created wonderful ornaments for our tree. She has something else in mind for us for Easter. She wants to come up and, Petronella, tell everyone about what you have planned.
So hello again. So like what we did for Christmas and winter, I'm putting together something for us to do for our ethereal spring equinox to usher in spring. And for those of us who celebrate Easter, to kind of pull that together as well, but all surrounding science of mind principles. It will be Friday, March 20th from 1 to 5 p.m. here at the center. And I will give you a little preview of fun. We're going to be creating instead of vision boards, vision eggs. And those will be some seeds of intention that we're going to be planting. But it will come together to be some beautiful decor, intentional decor for our center, and I'm excited. Just like before, I'm going to ask for people to donate some items. I'll put that on the Facebook Messenger page, and you just have to bring your love and your intentions. You don't have to worry about creativity. We'll have that all taken care of for you. It's going to flow, so please join us.
Thank you. Thank you. Petronella has such a gift of being able to, like she said, to gently lead somebody who may not think they're creative into creating something wonderful, beautiful, enjoyable, and with a spiritual message. Good job. That's awesome. And we'll be posting that on Facebook too. And then next week is Potluck Sunday, so just want to remind everybody about that. Everyone's welcome for that. And just as a reminder, Chili Cook-Off. It's the 5th Sunday, March 29th. And does our kitchen goddess have anything she'd like to say? Is she up there? Michelle? She's been shopping for prizes. So, she's been squeezing Amazon for some goodies. So if you have a recipe you think would be award-winning, or just tasty, or just fun, think about it, and she's going to be having some more details on what we can do. And, oh, here she is, Kitchen Goddess.
Okay. If you were here last year, you know how many different versions we had. So I'm gonna need to know, did you do any kind of, you do?
Not much.
Okay. So it's Sunday, March 29th, and you bring your chili in before, so try to be here by 9:30 with your pot. I number them, it's a blind scoring, and then there are prizes. So
yes.
So if you remember last year, she dressed her thing up with her chef hat and spoon and apron last year. So there are prizes. Be creative. You can, any kind of chili you want. If you want to do vegetarian, do vegetarian. You want to do chicken, whatever. Just use your imagination, be creative, have fun, and it's a really great competition. We had like 12
We had a lot last year,
right?
Yeah.
So just make sure you get here by 9:30 so we can set everything up. There is a bit of setting up, and I have a new team. We got Lisa
Excellent.
and Tina, and
Excellent.
if anybody else wants to volunteer to help me set up, Evie helped me last year. And bring your voting cards and your taste buds. We will also need some sides too. So if somebody wants to bring cornbread and some fixins on the side, cheese, sour cream, whatever. Go ahead, feel free to bring that. And is that about it?
It's going to be great.
Yes.
It's going to be delicious.
Darren wants to make a pot, but he doesn't want to be in the judging, so we'll allow him to bring his crock. I thought he could be in there in the judging, but he doesn't want to, but he'll bring it in.
You know what? I'm going to use my divine influence to
There
bring
you
it.
go.
If you're bringing sides, would they come at 9:30 or would sides come?
No, sides are fine at whatever time you come.
Okay.
We'll have tables set up so you can put your sides there. But I need to know ahead of time how many people are bringing so I know what kind of setup we need.
Perfect.
We were running out of room
Perfect.
last
If
time.
you have any questions, just ask Michelle,
Yes.
and we'll have more information online too. Looking forward to it. Awesome. So thank you for everyone who's been here today. What a fun service. Great music, great prayers. For everyone watching online, and let's end the service as we always do by standing up, taking our hands, making a circle, and singing the peace song. Beautiful. Ready?
With
something wonderful is happening in my life right now.
Something wonderful is happening in my life right now.
I know it.
I know it.
I believe it.
I believe it.
I feel it.
I feel it.
I accept it.
I accept it.
Thank you, life.
Thank you, life.
So it is.